Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Divine, and if this is your first time here, you're welcome to Styles by Andre. Also, if you're a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you for stopping by once again. So in today's tutorial, I'll be showing us how to go about the pattern drafting of this beautiful monostrap bustier dress with a keyhole neckline. So if this is something you're interested in, don't forget to like, share, and let's get started with the tutorial for today. So this is my pattern paper here. I'm going to be folding this pattern paper into two like so. So we're going to be drafting out our pattern on fold. Then I'll be inserting our measurement. And from the starting of the paper here, I will come down to mark my chest line measurement of 7.5 inches, my apex of 9.5 inches, my length to under bust of 12.5 inches, and my half length of 15.5 inches. So we are drafting our pattern on fold because the left side of our dress is different from the right side of the dress. So we need the full front draft. Then from the half length, I will come down with 7.5 inches to mark out my hip line measurement. Then from the shoulder, I'll be using the end of my paper here for the gown full length. So if your gown is longer, you can increase your paper. If it's shorter, you can mark where you want your gown to stop. So this is 36 inches for my full length. Now I'll be marking my shoulder measurements divided by 2. I'll mark that on my shoulder line and also on my chest line. Then connect the 2 points together to get my armhole line. After which I'll be coming down with 1 inch. Then measure what I have left on that line and get the middle of it. I'll mark the midpoint. Then on that midpoint, I'll go inwards with 1/2 inch. Next, I'm going to be marking my bust measurement divided by 4. I'll mark that on my chest line. Then connect these 3 points together using my pattern curve. So I'll connect the 3 points. This is the armhole curve for the front of my dress. Next, from the apex, I'm going to be marking my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 3.75. So from the apex line, I will mark 3.75 all the way to the gown full length. Next, from the length to under bust, I'm going to be marking 1 inch on both sides of this nipple to nipple line. This is for our dart intake. For a bust of 36. This varies depending on your bust measurement. So 1 inch on both sides of nipple to nipple line, starting from the length to under bust. Then I'll connect from the length to under bust to the nipple point using this part of my pattern curve. So from the 1 inch to the nipple points on the apex. So this is what we are having. Next, I want to draw out the curve of the princess dart, and from this midpoint, I'll connect it to the nipple point, like so. After which, I'm going to mark 1 inch on both sides of this line. The dart intake for our princess dart, 1 inch up, 1 inch down. I'll connect it back to the nipple point. And this third line here, after drawing it out, I'm going to extend my hands out. As you can see. So because I went up with 1 inch and came down with 1 inch, we have 2 inches. And when we cut off this dart, we are going to be having a shortage there. So because of I took out 2 inches here, I'm going to replace 2 inches on this extended line. Then I'll measure what I'm having here, I'll replace it. So we're going to be cutting out this dart, so we need to replace accordingly so we are not short on our fabric. So this is going to be, I'll connect like so, this is going to be the new armhole you'll be working with. If you work with this old one, we are going to be having a shortage. So this is the new one we'll be working with. Next, on the half length line, I'm going to mark my round body measurement divided by 4. I'll measure what I have for my dart and replace. On the hip line also, the hip measurement divided by 4, I'll mark it out. Measure what I have for my dart, which is 2 inches, I will replace it. Next, I'll measure all I have on my hip. I'll measure everything there and mark the same thing on my gown full length. Now this is a pencil dress And because it's a pencil dress, I'll be going in from that point with 1 inch. So if you want a straight dress, you can just take it from the hip straight down. But if it's a pencil dress, from the hip, I'm going to go inwards with 1 inch at the full length of the gown. So I'm going to connect everything like so. So this is what we are having. Next, I'm going to be inserting our bust dart, and on this apex line, I'll mark 1 inch on both sides. I'll come to the nipple point here and go out with 0.25. Just very small. I'll connect that 0.25 to the 1 inch. So this is our bust dart of 2 inches, which we're going to be closing up later on in this video. Now for our basic neckline, I'm going to be marking a neck width of 3 inches by 3 inches. I will draw our curve. This is just the basic. We're still going to be altering this. Then I'll connect from the neck width to this 1 inch we came down to get our shoulder slope, because our shoulders are not straight. So this is the slope of the shoulder. Then I will use my tracing wheel to trace on all these lines so that they appear on the other side of my pattern paper, so we can have the full drafting of the front bodice. So I'll use my pencil now to follow the dotted lines the tracing wheel created. So this is easier than having to redraft all over again. The tracing wheel will help speed up that process. So this is what I'm having. This is my right side, this is my left side, and on this left side is where our keyhole is going to be. So the neckline I'll be working with now is going to be 3.5 inches. So I'll mark 3.5 inches here. This is the desired neckline for this dress, 3.5 inches. From that 3.5 inches now, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches. So this 1.5 inches is going to be the Ankara fabric. So the Ankara fabric is going to be here. Then I'll come to the shoulder tip and go in with 1/2 inch. So the Ankara fabric is going to be this 1/2 inch also. So what I have left from here to here is going to be the opening of the keyhole design we have on our shoulder, so which is 1.75. I'm left with 1.75. So this is going to be the opening of that design I'm having. Now to determine the depth of the design, I'm going to be coming down to my chest line of 7.5 inches, and from that chest line, that midpoint, I'll go out with 1/2 inch. So I'm going to be connecting this opening now to touch that 1/2 inch I came out with. So draw your opening. You can even draw this any shape you want. It doesn't have to be this particular shape. Any design you want to have there, you can make it happen there. So this is what I'm having for the keyhole opening. So that's it for the left side. Now on the right side, I'm going to determine how low I want the strap to be, how low I want that part to be. I'll be coming down from this shoulder slope with 5 inches. You can come down with 6 inches, but note that the lower you come, the more exposed your bust is going to be on that area. So I'm coming down with 5 inches from the shoulder tip. I'm going to be connecting this neckline on the left to that 5 inches on the right. So from the 3.5 inches on the left, I'm going to connect it to that 5 inches on the right. So this is what we are having on this area. So I'm going to be closing up this dart because we're going to cut out this dart. This part is not going to align. So when we sew it, one part is going to be longer than the other. So to make it equal, we're going to compare what we have from here to here with what we are having from here to here. So I'll measure it from this point all the way to the nipple point. I'll measure what I'm having and compare it with what I'm having on the last line there. So I'm comparing the first line with the third line. And look at where this one stops. So please take note, this is where this one stops. So we're going to be connecting now from here all the way to the end, not from the initial line. The initial line is longer than this other side. So by the time we close up this dart, like we've cut it out, you can see that it's matching up. These two sides is matching up. So this is what we are going to be working with. So with this now, when we cut off our dart and we are sewing, we're going to be having an equal, that part is going to be equal. So I'll erase that initial line, and this is it for the neckline. So by the time we sew our strap to the neckline, our strap is going to be long enough to go through the hand and all the way to the back of the dress. So this is where our hand is going to be. The strap is going to extend from one shoulder all the way to the hand and to the back. Then we can fix our buttons on this part. So this is it for the front of this dress. So for the back, I will also fold my pattern paper into two, and from the top of my paper I'll come down to mark my chest line of 7.5 inches, my back half length of 13.5 inches. So the front was 15.5 inches, the back is 13.5 inches. Then from the half length I'll come down with 7.5 inches to mark my hip line. 7.5, I'll connect. After which I will take my front pattern now and measure what I'm having from the half length to the gown full length, which is 20.5 inches. I'll measure the same thing at the back from the half length to 20.5 inches. That is where the gown is going to stop. So you know the back is shorter with 2 inches than the front. So I just measure from the half length to the full length at the front and mark the same thing at the back so we don't make a mistake. So next I'll mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I'll mark that on my shoulder line and also on my chest line. Then connect the 2 points together. After which I'm going to mark my bust measurement divided by 4. I'll mark that on my chest line. Then on this armhole line here, I'm going to get the middle of it. I'll divide what I have by 2. I'll mark that out. Then I'll connect that midpoint to the bust measurement on the chest line. So this is how you get the armhole for the back of your dress. Now from the center back of my pattern paper here on the half length, I'm going to go in with 0.5. I'll connect that 0.5 to the tip of my shoulder, and this helps to eliminate excesses that we might have after fixing our zipper. So if you don't remove this, your zipper is going to be bulging out at the back of your dress. Then I'll come down from the half length with 6 inches and blend it out like so. So we're going to be cutting this out. Now from that half 0.5 inch we marked, I'll mark my round body measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for the back dart. After which I'll mark my hip measurements divided by 4. Then connect the 3 points together. So the round body measurement started from after the 0.5 of the zipper bulge, while other measurement starts from the center of our paper. Then what I have on my full length now, I'm going to go in with 1 inch first to help enhance the butt area. Then from the full length I'll go up with 8 inches and connect that 8 inches to the 1 inch. So we're going to be cutting this out. This place will help to enhance the butt area. After which I'll measure what I have on my hip, which is 9.5. I'll mark that 9.5 after that 1 inch. So from here I'll mark the 9.5, which is my hip measurement divided by 4, and from that point I'll go inwards with 1 inch because this is a pencil dress. So this is what I did for the front. So I'll go in with 1 inch, then connect it back to the hip line. So this is what I'm having. So this butt area is enhanced for this dress. So I'll be cutting this part out. Next, from this 0.5, I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2. This is for the dart at the back. And from that half length, I'll go up with 5 inches and come down with 5 inches for the length of our darts. Then on both sides of this nipple to nipple line, I'll mark ½ inch and connect it to touch the tip of the dart. So this is our dart for the back. Then on this half length, I also like to go up with ½ inch on both sides from the center back. I'll blend it to the side like so. I'll blend it to the side. This also helps to smoothen out the back of the dress. So this is what I'm having for this back. Now to mark the neck width, I'll mark 3 inches by 1 inch for the depth. So 3 inches width by 1 inch for the depth. Then I'll come down with 1 inch on this shoulder line, armhole line, and get my shoulder slope. So this is the slope. I'm going to use my tracing wheel now to trace this around my pattern so that it can appear on the other side. So this is what I'm having. Now we have to determine which side is the left on this pattern. What I'll do is to make sure the two wrong sides are facing each other. So this is my left on my pattern, this is my right on my pattern. So don't assume, guys, place it accordingly. The two wrong sides should face each other. So for the left side now, the left side is the one with the shoulder. I'll mark the neck width of 3.5 inches, just like we did for the front, 3.5 inches. And on the right side, I'll come down with 5 inches. So I'll mark 5 inches from the shoulder slope. So I'm going to connect. This is the shape I want to have. After doing that now, I'm going to make sure that these two parts align. These two parts align. I'll close it up like so. Then you can see that it is not equal. I'll just blend it out. And please note that the strap is not going to enter into the zipper. It's going to stop before the zipper, before we fix our zipper. So this is it. So this is where our strap is for the back. It's going to extend out on this side where our sleeve, our hand is going to pass through. So the strap is not going to enter into the zipper, like I said. But if you want yours to enter, you can try it out. So this is what I'm having for the strap, and this is where our hand is going to pass through. So we'll be cutting out all these excesses. We don't need them. We'll be cutting it out. And please note that this dress does not have a mid cut. That is, there's no cutting, there's no joining on the half length. It's just a straight sewing all the way to the hem. So but if you want yours to have a half cut, on this hip side you are going to go inward with 1 inch. That is if you don't want to sew a dart at the lower part of your dress. So we're going to go in here, and you will not need to sew this dart anymore. But because this is a straight sewing, we are going to be working with the initial line. So we'll cut out this, we'll cut out this zipper board excess. We cut the armhole. So this is what we are having. So I'll cut the neckline now. So because I said there is no mid joining, I'll be showing us how to get rid of this dart here. So we're going to be closing up like so. You fold it and take it up, you close it. So with that now, we've eliminated that excess that's at that point. We use our paper tape to tape it down. So we're going to sew our dart straight down, no joining on the mid free. So this is going to be where our strap is going to be for the front, something like this. By the time we are done fixing it, and to extend out where our hand is going to pass through. So to cut out this pattern now, I'll fold it into two and just cut the side, because the two sides are the same. After which I will open up and cut individually. So I'll cut out this dart. These two darts, this dart is the same on both sides. I'll cut it out. So I'll open it up and cut them individually now. I'll cut off this dart here. So this is my left side. I'll just label it so that it's easier to identify. So please watch how I go about the cutting of this pattern. I'll follow the neckline. The part with the red marker is the neckline. I'll cut off the darts, then cut the neckline. I'll cut off the excess on the shoulder slope, then cut the opening. And this is what we are having for the center front and also for the side. So I'm going to close up the bust dart on this side. I'll fold it up, then tape it down. And I'll do that for both the right and the left piece. So guys, we've come to the end of the pattern drafting of this beautiful dress, and if you found this tutorial really helpful, please don't forget to like, share and ask your questions in the comment section, and I'll reply as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye for now.